Welcome back to Predicting the NFL with Mickey G. It is now week 14 of the NFL season, and after 2 weeks in a row of just real bad predicting skills, we're right back on track. Okay, we went 13-3 this week, so we're back. That's now our, I think, second best of the season so far, besides week 6 when we went 13-1, which is insane. We, however, did get the game of the week, upset, and crapfest all wrong, but the Jersey team was successful, and we did pick them to be successful, so that's now 2 in a row for that. And both those games are against the Giants, and there may be a surprise on who the Saints are playing this week as well. On the season now, we are 123-72, trying to keep that below the 100 losses. We're now multiple weeks ahead of the 100 wins. The most we've ever had in a season is 170, which we should be able to get with the extra season, so goal, I guess, is 180 or so, I want to say, for us. And it looks like we're in a pretty good spot to get that. So I'm feeling very hopeful. Week 13 for all seasons, we are 57-37. That is one of our better weeks. 2-3 in games of the week, 1-4 in upsets, 2-3 in crapfest. And that was our first Jersey game of all time for week 13. So that is cool as well. Last week, the Chiefs won a close one over the Raiders. Normal Chiefs game for them. The Colts and the Patriots went down to the wire. The Colts with a 2-point conversion, straight dive from Anthony Richardson on a 2-point conversion is what won them the game. Unfortunate for pickers like me. The Steelers beat the Bengals, scored 44 points on them, allowed 38, but in reality that was a lot of just garbage stats from Burrow. They were pretty handily ahead of that game the whole time. It was never really a doubt the Steelers were going to win. It's just they would go up by like 2 scores, and then the Bengals score 1, and then they just kind of stayed in that area for the whole time. The Texans beat the Jags in what was kind of close, probably because they might have been a little fired up, and the play calling was actually not awful. After Trevor Lawrence went down because of a late hit from Azeez Al-Shahar, who has now been suspended for 3 games, and then he was posting about how, if you want me to be the villain, I'll become the villain. Buddy, this is not your first offense here, right? He punched a guy earlier in the season. He's kind of known for being a dirty hitter, and there's whole lots of discourse about that I don't really feel the need to get into, but Trevor Lawrence is now on IR. He's done for the season. Should have been done for the season about 2 weeks ago when they decided not to fire Doug, and the season was pretty much canned. Hopefully he comes back next year and is much healthier and much better and with a different coach. That is at least the goal for me. The Browns and the Broncos had a nice Monday night game. Went down to the wire, but Jameis couldn't help himself and kept throwing pick sixes. Did have a lot of touchdowns as well, though. Just a vintage Jameis game for him. So that was pretty cool to see. The Packers beat the Dolphins on that Thanksgiving night game. I was 3 for 3 on Thanksgiving games, by the way. Ball knower on Thanksgiving. The Chargers, they beat the Falcons. Fairly standard game there. The Seahawks beat the Jets, thanks in part to a pick 6 off of Aaron Rodgers. The Washington Commanders completely demolished the Titans. No real shock there. The Eagles beat the Ravens. That was one of my incorrect games. That was unfortunate, but I mean, I could have gone either way. I just kind of let a little bias probably get ahead of where it could. No one's stopping Saquon, it seems. No one can figure that out at all. So the Eagles are probably going to keep winning games. The Bills completely smashed the 49ers, and McCaffrey is now out for the season, I believe. I think it was a PCL tear that happened to him. And Josh Allen got a passing and receiving touchdown on the same play in help from a lateral from Amari Cooper. The Lions, they beat the Bears because the Bears had terrible clock management, and they have now officially fired Matt Eberflus. He is gone from that city. The Cowboys in our Jersey game beat the Giants. The Vikings with a come-from-behind victory over the Cardinals, in which they kind of sold the last quarter or so. The Rams beat the Saints. Taysom Hill is now out for the season, so that's unfortunate for the Saints. That'll probably slow them down a little bit. And the Buccaneers able to beat the Panthers in an overtime victory, thanks in part to a Chuba Hubbard fumble, which was not great for my fantasy teams, but he did fine enough the rest of the game that didn't totally matter. And the Buccaneers do get themselves another victory, so they are trying to get themselves ahead in that division, and I think they might be, actually. If they win this week and the Falcons lose, then they will be in first in that division. So they can retake that. So good for them. But that's all last week's stuff. Let's get into this week's predictions. The first game on our docket here is the Jaguars at the Titans. This is our crap fest of the week. These teams both stink. 3-win Titans against a 2-win Jacksonville team that now is Trevor Lawrence no more. The Jags are losing. They are bad. I wish they could win this game. I hate the Titans, but unfortunately, the Jags stink, and honestly, I could see Will Levis having a functional performance here, and people going, wait a minute, is Will Levis the guy? And the answer is no. The answer is no. It's the same thing that's happening in Indianapolis right now, where he's beating bad teams. They're like, what? Like, no, the Colts just don't have an awful roster. That's why they're winning football games. But anyways, Titans should win this, because the Jaguars stink, but maybe Mac Jones will do it for him. Who knows? Brian Thomas Jr., 5 catches, 400 yards. That could win him a game, I guess. Next is the Browns at the Steelers. Browns won the last matchup, but this time it is in Pittsburgh. I'm not going to dance around here. The Steelers winning this one. I could see a couple more interceptions from our dear friend Jameis Winston, but Russ is playing really well right now. So I'm picking him to win this. Next is the Jets at the Dolphins. The Jets look bad. The Dolphins I'm not super impressed with, but I am more impressed by them than I am the Jets. So I'm going to go with the Dolphins in this one. They're really good at beating bad teams, and the Jets are a bad team, so they should be able to do that. Next is the Chargers at the Chiefs. This is our game of the week. It might surprise you. And there's Packers Lions matchup over there, but that's because it's got a different asterisk next to it. So the Chargers Chiefs, I think it's like 6 out of the last 7 times they've played, it's been a 1-score game. So these teams like to go, and they like to go close, and both teams in a weird spot. The Chargers are better than they have been. The Chiefs feel like they're worse than they have been, but they also only have 1 loss. But let's be honest here. It's going to go down to the wire. It's going to be a 1-score victory for the Chiefs. That's what I'm picking. I would like to go the other direction, but that's what I'm picking. Next is the Raiders at the Buccaneers. The Raiders are bad. Buccaneers, a close one against Carolina, but the Raiders, I don't think, have an idea of what they are. They have lots of injuries. I think O'Connell might have got hurt again. I'm not even totally sure who their quarterback is going to be right now. I think it's Aiden O'Connell. He came back from injury a couple weeks ago. He's probably still there. I don't think it matters, though. Buccaneers are winning this one. Next is the Bills at the Rams. The Bills are looking really, really, really good. They're having tons of fun. Josh Allen with an easy win performance, and he didn't even have like 200 yards, and they scored 35 points. They ran the ball like crazy in that snow, and they're going to beat the Rams. The Rams are not great this year. They also just signed Emmanuel Forbes. Why? He's not good. Not good. Next is the Bengals at the Cowboys. This is a Monday night game that I will not be watching. This is a stinker. However, this could be one that the Bengals win. I'm not expecting the Cowboys to be able to... They're not good, but that defense is terrible for Cincinnati, so maybe they can put up points, but I don't think it's going to matter. I think Burrow and the gang can stay ahead of them points-wise, because Cowboys' defense isn't great either, so Bengals should win that one. Next is the Packers at the Lions. This is our upset of the week. That's right. You thought it was going to be game of the week. We're going upset with these guys. The Lions won the last one. I think the Packers can steal this one in Detroit as well. This is a very biased pick, but I'm going for it anyways. I think it's more fun this way if they get this victory. So I'm going with the Packers. Next is the Falcons at the Vikings. Falcons are looking bad. Last 3 weeks, I think, pretty sure Kirk has 0 touchdowns, 6 picks, so not a great look for him. He had like 4 last week or something goofy. Just a whole mess of a team for him. And the Vikings, they're sneaking out victories thanks to their defense, and I don't think Kirk's going to be able to escape the pressure that they're going to send. So I'm going with the Vikings in this one. Next is the Saints at the Giants. This is our jersey game of the week. You can see the jersey, 3rd week in a row where the jersey game is against the Giants, and I'm hoping I go 3-0 in those games. I think I can do it. I think that makes sense. The Saints, I like them. Unfortunately, Taysom Hill does hurt them not being there, but I still think it's a good pick to choose, so the Saints are going to win this one. Next is the Panthers at the Eagles. Panthers have had some close ones. This could be a little fringe upset looking at. Maybe take the spread in favor of them or something. But the Eagles are the better team, and I don't think they're going to stop Saquon. So I'm going with the Eagles in this one. And next is the Seahawks at the Cardinals. The last matchup between these two teams was a gross, ugly game. The Seahawks came out on top. And I think they're going to do it again. I think they might pull away and win that division. I think they're like up 1 game right now on the rest of them. So I have a feeling they can keep it going there. And I'm going with the Seahawks. The final game of this week is the Bears at the Niners. The Bears just fired their coach. It might be a good choice to pick them, but I just don't think they're good. I think Shanahan masterclass this week against the Bears. That's my expectation. Could be a bad pick. I could definitely see this going the opposite direction. I would not bet in favor of Niners money line or something like that. But I'm going to pick them to win. I think they're probably still the better team, and I don't think the Bears win a game the rest of the season. That's another part of it. So Niners should win this one. That's what I'm picking. Now, there are 6 teams on a bye this week. The Ravens, who've had a couple losses recently. Steelers 2 weeks ago, and then the Eagles last week. I guess Steelers 3 weeks ago, and then, whatever. They need to rest up a little bit, make sure they're locked in. They're still going to make the playoffs. I'm not worried about that for them, but they got to make sure they get there first. The Texans, they've had some weird situations going on. They haven't really figured out their whole identity. They've definitely been a lot worse than teams have expected them to, but it helps they play in the AFC South, which does stink. So they're probably still cleaning up that division, but I hope the Colts take it from them after that last thing. But I also don't want the Colts because of Anthony Richardson. I don't know. I hate the AFC South. I didn't hate the Texans before this week, man, but the way D'Amico Ryan's been talking about Trevor and all that stuff, I started to hate him a little bit. Not a fan. Colts, they're bad. I think they have injuries. They do have injuries. They have Downs is hurt. There's a couple other guys that have been dealing with injuries the last couple of weeks. They need to heal up. Patriots, they obviously have injuries because they stink. They also just are young, so 2 weeks of game plan going into something could be very helpful for Drake May. The Broncos, they're looking solid recently. They're in a decent spot. They're, I believe, in the 7th seed right now for the AFC. So if they want to keep that spot and make themselves into the playoffs, they got to keep playing, and bye week's definitely going to help them there. And the Commanders, they're doing solid. They should probably still be able to make the playoffs as well, but they still need to clean things up a little bit maybe, and bye week's going to help with that as well. So those are our bye week teams, but also working on a little something right now with the stat sheet that I have linked in the bio for my predictions. I've gone through and I've finished all of the 2017 season, but I have my record for each team in picks. So there's their record, which, just is so that it's continual, and then my record picking their games, and then same thing for the game of the week. So how they do in games of the week, and then how my successful my picks are when that team's in the game of the week. Same thing for upset. Same thing for crapfest. Same thing for jersey games. So a lot of interesting stuff there. I'm gonna try to finish that up this week. Maybe it'll be done by Sunday. No promises. It did take a lot of time to finish 2017. And I have 4 more seasons to go. Well, 4.5, because this one's not done yet. But that's a cool thing to go check out if you would like to. And I'll start bringing that kind of statistics and stuff into the videos, I think, as well. But yeah, that's all for this week. Thanks for stopping by. Make sure to come back next week, and I'll see you guys later.